I appreciate you all being here. I established the Leadership Excellence Forum in August of 2023 in an effort to create a psychologically safe place for leaders across various sectors and industries to convene to talk about pertinent issues that can help us enhance our leadership effectiveness. So it's informal, yet we have a structured process for how we like to implement our Leadership Excellence Forums. We had our first in-person Women's Leadership Excellence Forum in March in partnership and collaboration with the Women in Manufacturing Georgia chapter, and it was phenomenal. So phenomenal, in fact, that we said, hey, let's do it again. So we are hosting it again on January 30th at ADCO corporate headquarters in Duluth. Registration is open now. You can visit the Women in Manufacturing website to grab your seat today. We know it's going to be sold out completely. So you do want to go ahead and register today so that you will solidify your seat. I would like to introduce our special guest today so that we can dive right into the topics for today. Starting with Claire Gordon. Claire is a seasoned leader in commercial banking with extensive experience at top financial institutions, including Wells Fargo and Bank of America, as well as Truist. She has been recognized for her innovative approach and dedication. She has held senior positions that emphasize relationship management, business development, and team leadership. Claire is actively involved in community and professional initiatives, serving on boards and councils that promote mentorship, diversity, and engagement. She is a passionate advocate for leadership development and strategic growth, earning accolades such as Gwinnett Young Professionals Under 35 Leaders and the Moxie Award. So welcome, Claire, and thank you for joining us today. Next, I'd like to introduce Rhonda Rogers. Rhonda is the Vice President of CVDE at Southwire, where she oversees customer experience, service, and delivery for one of North America's largest wire and cable manufacturers. With over 20 years of experience in sales and management, she excels in driving revenue growth, expanding market share, and building strategic partnerships with multi-million-dollar companies. Rhonda is committed to fostering sustainable business practices and leading high-performing teams that deliver exceptional results. She holds an MBA in Applied Management from Indiana Wesleyan University and actively participates in mentorship programs that empower women in manufacturing. Rhonda, welcome to the Leadership Excellence Forum, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, so we are going to dive right in. This is a Leadership Excellence Forum, and we always start by talking about what is leadership excellence. And I'm really interested, Claire, in your perspective, what is leadership excellence to you?
Okay, so I had not thought about this until our event in March of this year. And y'all, if you want a good event, I mean, it was incredible. Dr. Woodard is just one of the best, same with Tammy, Rhonda, and just the discussion. So when thinking about it, I think our collaborative environment really helped shape what leadership excellence is for me. So with that, I think it has several components. It's the ability to inspire, guide others towards a common vision. But with that, you have to foster an environment of trust, collaboration, growth, with the core of that having the growth mindset, but doing that with integrity, a commitment for continuous improvement, then most importantly with empathy. So I had not thought about any of that until Dr. Woodard brought us all in a group, and just the level of woman and just the openness and the vulnerability. It really is incredible, just the leaders we have in our community and the partnership we have. But ultimately, with leadership creates a purpose and just care for genuine people and a driving force for everyone. So I think every single organization, no matter where you are, has a component of leadership excellence, hopefully. And I think Dr. Woodard is just a key example of that. So thank you all again for having me. I know I went all over the place, but I just wanted it to be authentic as well.
Well, thank you. And you did touch on many of the adjectives and phrases that we use in our standard leadership excellence definition. So thank you for that. I love that you really talked about empathy because it is so important to care about people's lived experiences because we're bringing our whole selves to the workplace. So it's critical that we supplement all of our innovative thinking and process management and operations and decision making and problem solving with a genuine and sincere care for people and consideration of their various contexts and what they're experiencing in the workplace. So thank you for sharing that, Claire.
Yeah, I'll also add that I think women are just so good at showing empathy, and that's one of the driving forces of women being great leaders too, being able to relate to so many people and really truly care.
Mhm. I would agree, and I think our audience would too. Rhonda, you obviously were at the Women's Leadership Excellence Forum in March as a member of the planning committee that helped us coordinate and get everything together for it. Tell us about your experience at the forum and why do you think women and men should attend our next in-person Leadership Excellence Forum in January?
This year's forum, it's motivating, it's captivating, it's fun, it's empowering. It gives you that level of confidence to go the next step, which is a great thing. I think that's why I'm so looking forward to 2025 and the forum at AGCO. It gives you the tools to be motivational, to lead more effectively, and it helps you build a more inclusive work environment. So that's why I would say you really should think about attending in 2025. Not only that, it's an investment in yourself, your team, and even our future leadership. So I absolutely 100%. I'm looking forward to attending January 2025, and hopefully I get to meet all of you there.
Yes, I hope everyone on the call today and you and your friend group, colleagues will attend the January 30th, 2025 Women's Leadership Excellence Forum. Rhonda, you just mentioned something that was really important. This is an investment in yourself. And why is it so important for us as women to invest in ourselves? We encounter so many challenges that really hinder our advancement in the workplace. In fact, this is a phenomenon that has been termed the broken wrong. McKinsey, which is a large consulting firm, released a study that indicated that for every 100 men promoted to the first level of management, only 87 women and 82 women of color are promoted. Rhonda, given that you work obviously in manufacturing, which is a male dominated industry, I know from personal experience, I started my career as an engineer working in gas turbine manufacturing and then in automotive manufacturing. So, male dominated industries. What is your perspective? How do you believe this phenomenon affects the leadership pipeline in such industries that are male dominated?
Dr. Woodard, you're exactly correct. I definitely work in a very male-dominated industry, and I wouldn't change it for anything. It's not something that I aspired when I was, 19 or 20. It's one of those jobs that I fell into and actually fell in love with it. What happens though is it creates a bottleneck. That bottleneck is at the very first step into management, which then limits the flow of diverse talent into higher level leadership positions. So when we have that bottleneck there, women and even men, just individuals, period, have a problem catapulting to that next level. I honestly, in my career, I thank God, especially my male mentors that helped me with my career and helped me grow within my career. So I think that in itself is important to kind of break those cycles that we still continue to see. And I think women have to, in general, just be available to take a seat at the table and not be afraid. You know, we're not perfect. None of us are perfect. I will never tell anyone that I'm perfect. I make mistakes, but I'm also not afraid to take that next chance or that next option that's laid out in front of me. Don't be afraid to take a chance. Don't be afraid that you're going to mess up. Make sure that you speak up, because that is what's important as far as actually breaking the cycle.
Yes, and I think that's why events such as the Women's Leadership Excellence Forum, institutes, coaching programs, I think that's why that's so important. When you're working in a male-dominated space, it's really easy to kind of lose your confidence. And we've heard about the imposter syndrome, obviously, but programs like coaching, support, mentorship, it's so important for us to develop more confidence so that we will pursue those promotional opportunities when they become available. Claire, I see you nodding furiously over there. What would you add to that in terms of how do we address this broken wrong in our organization?
I mean, everything y'all were just talking about. I work in banking. That's also pretty male oriented. But I think the biggest thing is being willing to make mistakes. Some of my biggest mistakes have been my biggest learning lessons, having that growth mindset. But it's okay to make mistakes. You can take that and grow. And a lot of the times your mistakes make you a better person. And at the end of the day, we all make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. And if they are pretending they're perfect, then they aren't being vulnerable. So just having that mindset, and just being willing to jump 2 feet into opportunities, even if you are afraid, because at the end of the day, every single person has been afraid of those opportunities.
Mhm. And, we've heard the statistic that most men, when they look at promotional opportunities, job postings, if they have 2 or 3 of the 10 or 20 requirements, then they'll go for it. Whereas statistically, women will say, oh, I only have 9 of the 10, so I'm not going to apply. So I like what you said about being willing to jump in, take that risk, throw your hat in the ring, if you will, and for it, because you never know. It's important to realize that as leaders, we're not required to know every single aspect of our jobs. The higher we move up in leadership, the more it is about strategic visioning, influencing, motivating, removing barriers and obstacles for others, providing those resources that people need in order to thrive in their work. So some of those obstacles could be self-imposed sometimes as well. So we have to have a self-awareness about that. Is this real or is it self-imposed? One of the ways that as organizations think about what can we do to be more supportive in the workplace so that women can advance is to take a look at your recruiting and hiring and promotional practices. And here at Capstone, we do get called on quite a bit when organizations have a slate of candidates and they want to review those, and we'll do assessments for them. We'll help them with structured interviews. There are just some things that we do to help organizations so that the promotion opportunity and the process is more equitable. Tammy, would you tell and share with the audience what are some of the things that we do and you've helped us with specifically to help organizations create more equitable interviewing and screening processes?
I love the fact that you said processes, because it is indeed a process. It is very detailed. We have a very strategic process that starts with conducting a job analysis, looking at what are the critical skills and competencies and behaviors that are required for every single. And we get that information through surveys and focus groups and subject matter experts quite often. And we use all of that information to really make sure that the job description is aligned with the organization's goals and future needs. Sometimes we even help them rewrite those job descriptions to make sure that it's very precise and objective driven. Then we also have a set of standard evaluation tools, structured interviews based on a standardized set of questions on those key competencies that are required for the role. And it would include both behavioral questions, like tell me about a time when you had whatever that is, and situational questions, how would you handle this if this happened? And developing rubrics around all of that scoring, automating that initial screening process, and really just making sure that everything in that process is both fair and balanced and helps you identify exactly who that prime candidate is. It's a process.
It is, most certainly. Claire, you very recently accepted a new position. Congratulations to you. Yes,
Thank you.
you're
Yep.
welcome.
It,
You're welcome. So tell us about the whole experience and how did you leverage your previous professional work experience, any exposure that you've had to developing certain skills and your network, your social capital is so important. And I'm sure your network assisted you in that way as well. But speak to us about that. How did that occur for you?
yeah, so I'll just go from the very start of my career. I did not want to be in banking. I hated accounting, hated finance. It wasn't something I ever was interested in until I did the Truist Leadership Development Program. And then you get to meet Sally. You get to see her passion. You get to see why she does it to feed her family or wants to help her employees grow their own businesses. And I really fell in love with it. So from there, I was just truly blessed with, you guys have heard the phrase, it takes a village. The mentors I've had, the colleagues I've had, the people that have taken time just to invest in me and help me grow. This job was actually a former manager of mine and had let me know about the opportunity. And so just some of my experiences raising my hand when it wasn't everyone's first choice. And it wasn't my first choice either for some of my previous positions, but just really taking each opportunity and seeing the positive in them really helped me grow to each level and ultimately ended up with this position. And so it's been a fantastic opportunity. And a lot of the people that helped me get here were at our forum. So people like Dr. Woodard, Rhonda, Tammy, just being able to be vulnerable and also holding each other accountable. At the end of the day, we all have our flaws and we all know what we want to get better at. But having that conversation and check-ins where we hold each other accountable and just help us create a plan. The women on this panel have definitely helped me get here. So I'm just so appreciative. And that event really helped me kind of tailor what I wanted my career to look like, take a step back, review, and say, maybe I do need to take that next step and take that next opportunity. So it's been a really, really good ride so far.
Excellent. And congratulations to you again. I love how you said you took a step back and looked at it and said, let me step out here. And, you raised your hand for maybe some of the less popular jobs and, opportunities, but it exposed you in a way that others recognized a skill set in you that really highlighted your leadership potential. So kudos to you for being willing to do that. Sometimes we do accept roles and positions that may not be perfectly in alignment, but because of the exposure that it grants you, it's going to overall ultimately be highly beneficial for your career path. So that's an excellent illustration of that. Okay, I'm going to ask our audience to please feel free now to come off mute and ask our special guests or me any questions you may have.
Hi, everyone. Zenobia Edwards here. I had an opportunity to be at that conference as well, and I thought it was super, very, very well put together by Capstone. So, congratulations. I don't have a question. I just had a thought as you all were speaking, how when we break through some of those barriers that you all have been discussing this morning, how important it is for us to continue to lead the way so that the barriers don't reoccur for others. And so just to give some thought as we go into January of inviting young leaders, college girls, high school girls who are in leadership role, it will do a lot for them to be around women who are in that role and to learn, and it will be motivating for them. So just kind of reaching back, I'm a youth advocate for real, and I just think that would be a great experience for a young woman to have.
I couldn't agree more, Zenobia. Absolutely. I think it's important that we bring the younger women up with us so that they do understand it may not be an easy ride, but it's so well worth it. Claire mentioned it. It takes a village. It's not just one person that really helps us in our career. It's a village of people. It's a village of women. It's a village of men that may be there behind you, supporting you and advocating for you. So I couldn't agree more. Love the idea of bringing the younger women into this.
I'd like to add to that. We never really know the impact that we can have on another person. And sometimes just that daily encouragement is, Ms. Edwards has said, to really reach back and help somebody. I know that enabled me to climb the ladder a lot faster. And I have a deep reverence for those people that I recall doing that. So it's so simple. Sometimes it's just a quick smile and, hey, how are you today? So they know that somebody cares and is watching out for them.
I would agree. And in March, because we held our event near the University of West Georgia, we did reach out to their school to ask if they would like to send any students. And we will certainly do that again this year since we're hosting the January 30th forum in Gwinnett. We will probably reach out to the University of North Georgia, as well as Georgia Gwinnett, Gwinnett Tech, and maybe even some of the local high schools and ask if they would like to send some students, because it is important for us to, when we cross a threshold, to not just close the door behind us, to keep that door open and escort someone else into that sphere as well. I have the opportunity to do that on a daily basis because my oldest daughter is an engineer working in a male-dominated industry in construction. So nearly every day she calls me on her way home from work, and I have the opportunity to do some mentoring and coaching and advising and everything about how to navigate some of the challenges that she experiences working in construction. And you can imagine some of those challenges may be. Dr. Z, I have a question for you. You were at our event and you won the inaugural Woman of Excellence Award, and we are planning to offer that award again. In fact, this year we're going to be accepting nominations for that. Tell us what that experience meant to you and how that shapes you as a leader and going forward, what your commitments are to supporting women in the workplace.
Certainly. I was very proud to be the inaugural recipient. So thank you for that again. But things like that, it really puts me into reflection mode, thinking about how in the world did I get here? What steps did I have to take? Who helped me along? Whose paths did I cross? Had it not been for those things, I wouldn't be there. And even not just in the way of support, who were the blockers? Who tried to discourage? And how did I handle that? It's what really drives my passion for doing some of those things and taking some of the young women and young men who might represent in their young age as not being capable or able, and encouraging them to go for their goals and breaking down barriers for them to clear the way. Because I think that's what excellence is. Doing good is doing what the job description says. Doing excellent work means going beyond what's on that paper and standing in the gap where the things that aren't on the paper are going to be needed in order to do the things that are beyond the job description. And so it did a lot for me in the way of saying, you're doing okay, you're doing the right thing. And I'm glad, not just that, oh, others recognize it, but I'm glad that it's making an impact in the way that it should make an impact, because that's why we do this work. We want to positively impactful to those who are around us and those who aren't around us, because once they walk through the door in my coaching or those who deal with me, I'm telling them, reach back and get someone else and help bring them through the door so that the cycle continues and we continue to build what's behind me, beautiful girls and women all over the world, because we want them to realize their value and their worth. So it did a lot for me in the way of good. I'm on the right track and I'm going to continue this. And it emboldened me even more.
Mhm. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. And I certainly hope you will be present on January 30th to pass the award to the next recipient. So hopefully we'll see you there.
Yes.
Okay, I am going to ask our special guest if you have any closing thoughts you would like to share.
So my closing thoughts are, we as women just continue to fight the fight and be here to support one another, advocate for each other, be there to listen. I think that's most important, just having other like-minded individuals to help support you. So keep doing what you're doing because you guys are all fantastic and fabulous.
And just to echo Rhonda's thoughts, if there's anything we can ever do for y'all, just please do not hesitate to reach out. We really want to be here to help in any way that we can. And January 30th will be an amazing event. So we hope to see you. And if there's any feedback from people that attended last year that you'd like to see for this next year coming, we'd love to hear it. We really want to tailor this event so we can keep growing it because it is fantastic and it's something I look forward to every year. So thank you for having us.
Well, thank you, Rhonda and Claire. We appreciate your presence here today and sharing your personal experience. And yes, the January 30th Women's Leadership Excellence Forum is going to be phenomenal. So make sure you register, get your ticket, solidify your spot. It's going to be interactive. We're going to have networking, some really phenomenal panel speakers. We're going to have a book signing. There's going to be a lot going on. We're going to have a networking reception. You do not want to miss this 2025 Women's Leadership Excellence Forum with women in manufacturing. So be there. And it's not just for women in manufacturing, it's for any woman who wants to participate and men. Rhonda mentioned earlier that we really do need men as allies, as sponsors, as mentors, advocates in the workplace to help open those doors, to help challenge biases so that we all have an opportunity to thrive doing the work that we love. So I hope to see all of you there, and please share, follow us on social media, share the registration event and information because we know it is going to sell out. So register early, act fast to solidify your seat. And thank you all for participating. Well, that brings us to the close of our December Leadership Excellence Forum. The January 30th forum will be held at AGCO from 8:30 to 3:30. And then at 3:30, we will start the networking reception. It's going to be a ton of fun, very informative, engaging, inspiring, motivating. So you don't want to miss it. And we're so excited to be collaborating yet again with the Women in Manufacturing Georgia chapter, as well as our host sponsor, AGCO Corporation in Duluth. So follow us, go to the website, get your tickets, and we are looking forward to seeing you there. Happy holidays, everyone. I look forward to seeing you all in January. And Rhonda and Claire, thank you again for being here, and I look forward to working with you all even more. Thank you, everyone. Have
Merry
a
Christmas.
wonderful day.
Same to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.